Right, everybody, welcome to a new segment that we're going to call the bite-sized agenda. And what I'm going to do in this segment is basically give you a shorter recap of what's going to go on in tonight's stream. Now, I'm recording this and I will be recording these segments every night before we do the nightly stream, but they won't go out until afterwards. So basically, I'm just giving you a news bulletin of what we're going to be chatting about tonight. And look, the big story to start with today is, of course, that Divock Origi has signed a new contract extension with Liverpool Football Club. We knew this was in the offing. We knew it was probably going to happen. It has happened today. He signed that contract. When asked about what he hoped to achieve during the course of his new deal at the club, he replied, "To keep progressing and trying to maximise the potential and talent I have here each and every day. At the end of my career, I want to sit back and be proud that I've used all of my gifts and talents. I think the next 3 years are going to be very special. Prime years, maybe, and I'm going to try and use them to my fullest." Now, I keep talking about this, ladies and gentlemen. It's so important that we keep players at their prime at this football club. Before, we've seen that with excuse me, the likes of Coutinho, other players like that. We moved them on when they were entering their prime years. Well, right now, as things stand, Bobby Firmino, Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Sadio Mane, Divock Origi, all committing their prime years to this football club, and it's exactly the type of news that we need. So look, whatever you think about Divock Origi, he stepped up last season in the big moments. I'm not going to sit here and say that I think Divock Origi is the second coming of Robbie Fowler. He isn't, but he is improving, and he's going to continue to improve under the stewardship of Jurgen Klopp. And for that, and for the fact that he signed a new deal at the club, when he probably, let's be honest, he could have held out, he could have got a nice big payday down the line, but he wants to win things here, and obviously he's happy at the football club, and that's always good to hear. Slightly less dramatic story, but you know what, one that was doing the rounds quite a bit. Daniel Sturridge has been reunited with his little Pomeranian, which is brilliant news. It's always lovely to hear a happy ending in these stories. Quite how he came to get the dog back is somewhat, I suppose, up for contention about whether the dog happened to wander and be found by this family or this group of people. But either way, it doesn't matter. All Daniel Sturridge wanted was to be reunited with his dog, and that's happened. So that's good news for everybody. And Daniel Sturridge can now enjoy the rest of the summer, enter into whatever negotiations he wants to do and join whatever club he wants. But it is nice to see that there was a happy ending to that little story. Right, so now to get to some transfer news, and a couple of stories doing the rounds today. One story from El Desmarque said Liverpool are apparently ready to pay £67 million for Real Madrid star Marco Asensio. Now, the Echo mentioned that the report claims Jurgen Klopp very much likes the player, and that the arrival of Eden Hazard at Real Madrid could, or probably will, limit Asensio's playing time there. Now, as always, ladies and gents, take everything with a massive pinch of salt during the transfer window, as I'm going to move on to other stories and other players that have been linked as well. Sportsmall reckon Liverpool have taken a serious look at Junior Firpo. I love saying that name, Firpo. I could say that over and over again. From Real Betis, but are reluctant to pay the €50 million buyout clause. That being said, they do say that we've increased our interest in the player and we're regarded as the front runners to sign him. Now, we've seen lots of stories around Firpo. We've seen the story that they wanted Divock Origi as part of a deal. Well, we always knew Origi was going nowhere this summer, whether he signed a new deal with the club or not. He signed that new deal now, so clearly he's not going to be used as a potential make-weight in any deal for Firpo. 50 million being the buyout clause. I've seen numbers ranging from 30 million, 40 million, 45 million. As always, the God's honest truth is I don't know what's going on here. All I'm doing are reporting the news stories. Junior Firpo had a very good under-21 European Championships with Spain. He seems to be very, very highly thought of. There are some lines of suggestion to think, well, would you pay that much for potentially a backup left-back? I suppose maybe no, if you're limiting him to a potential left-back berth, and we know that he's a wide left-sided player, so he could play as a wing-back. He could probably play in midfield as well. Again, take it with a massive pinch of salt, ladies and gentlemen. I'll leave it up to you to decide whether this deal will or will not happen. The big story today, though, is one that's kind of just broken really over the last few hours. We all know what's going on with Nicolas Pepe. We all know he's been linked to Liverpool Football Club. We know that the British-based journalists are denying absolutely any interest, and journalists on the continent, mainly I think coming out of France, have been saying that there is confirmed interest in the player. So there have been more reports today to suggest that Liverpool have been in contact with Lille. There's one particular, and I'm going to use the word chancer on Twitter for this person, and I'm not talking about French Football News, I'm not talking about Bufasi, I'm not talking about RMC Sport, none of those guys. I don't even want to mention this lad's name because I think he's just a complete chancer, to be fair. I don't know the guy, I've never met the guy, but I still reckon he's a complete chancer. So he went on to say today that a fee of £68 million has been agreed between the two clubs. Now, this probably would have broken from a reliable journalist if that was the case, and this person isn't a journalist, by the way, so I'm not having to dig at him. He's not even a friend, he's not somebody from a rival podcast, he's not somebody from a rival channel, nothing like that. It's just somebody that popped up during a transfer window, one of these new ITK accounts that just, come into every window. Now, the reason I'm saying that it's interesting is because just as I was doing my notes out getting ready to come on tonight, I noticed that Dominic King tweeted, and he said, and I'm going to quote the tweet exactly, "Also worth categorically saying now that Liverpool have absolutely no interest in Nicolas Pepe. For all those stories coming from the continent, it's not a deal that will be happening." Now look, the truth is, I don't know. I don't know who's right in this situation. I don't know if we've a genuine interest. I don't know if we don't. We know that Melissa Reddy went as far as to say that Liverpool Football Club phoned Lille to say that they have no interest in the player. Now, we also know that Lille have come out and said that Liverpool definitely have an interest in the player and have spoken with the player's representatives. The stories coming out of France suggest that the player himself doesn't want to make any decision until after the African Cup of Nations. He wants to focus firmly on that. And then they go on to say that he wants to speak with the individual managers of any interested clubs when that's over. Now, there's a couple of lines of thought on this. I'm somebody that wants players that really want to play for this football club. And I'm not denying that just because somebody wants to talk to another manager doesn't mean they don't want to play for this football club. But what I'm wondering is, in this window, if we leave it late and Senegal, the Ivory Coast, all these clubs or teams, that are still in the African Cup of Nations could go all the way. So let's assume that Nicolas Pepe goes all the way. How long does that leave to get a deal done? How long does that leave him to talk to managers, to talk to his family, to get a contract sorted out? I don't know. I haven't been privy to this information. My personal belief, and it's just a belief based on a gut feeling, is that I don't think we're interested in Nicolas Pepe or that we're going to sign Nicolas Pepe. If I'm proven wrong, great. I'm happy to be proven wrong because I do believe that we need an attacking player. Whether it's Nicolas Pepe or not, I don't know. I guess only time will tell, ladies and gents. I've never claimed to have any knowledge. All I ever do is give my opinion, sit back and let's see what happens. A couple of other bits and pieces. Something very interesting. Liverpool have apparently been linked with Zenit St. Petersburg attacker, I think this is pronounced Sardar Azmoun, also known as the Iranian Messi. Take that with a massive pinch of salt, that report. But how many times have we heard, oh, he's the Egyptian Messi, he's the Iranian Messi, he's the French Messi, he's the whatever Messi, the Turkish Messi. I don't know anything about this guy, but when somebody's described as the something Messi, people must believe that he's quite good. And as I said, I always take these things with a massive pinch of salt. I don't know what massive is. Massive pinch of salt. So Sky Sports have confirmed that Spurs are interested in signing Dani Ceballos. We've seen Liverpool linked to this guy as well. I previously told you guys that Real Madrid had wanted to insert a buyback clause in any deal for Dani Ceballos, or at least that's what I'd read. Now, the Sky Sports report seems to suggest that it's looking more likely that this deal for Spurs will be a loan deal, because Real Madrid don't want to let go of the player just yet, which is a bit odd, isn't it? If you're being frank, he's been linked with moves away for a couple of windows now. He's had a very good under-21 European Championships with Spain. He's very well thought of around Europe as well. But if you're Spurs, if you're Mauricio Pochettino, would this make sense to take him in on a loan? I'm not sure if it's a loan to buy. It just seems to be at this moment in time it's a loan. Same with the buyback clause. It was something like that just didn't make any sense to me. So again, I suppose we're just going to have to wait and see what happens with this one. A couple of news of the under-18s and the under-23s who were in action today. The Liverpool under-18s beat Burton Albion 4-0 in their first pre-season friendly, and the under-23s played out a goalless draw against Crewe Alexandra. I think that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, this will be a new segment that we're going to be bringing out called the Bite-Sized Agenda. We're going to be covering the little bits and pieces that we will be going through in each night's stream. We did this because we listened to your feedback and we're aware that sometimes people, quite frankly, just haven't got an hour and 45 minutes to sit through a stream. And we don't want to give up that stream, because that's the thing that built this channel. The interaction, the live content is what the channel was built on. So we're trying to make everybody happy. So we hope you enjoy these shorter segments. Please do bear in mind that something could possibly break during the live stream that we haven't covered on here, and if that's ever the case, we'll cover it the next day. I'd love to know your thoughts and your comments on everything that I've spoken about. If there's any stories or anything you want us to cover, please again do put it in the comment section below. I'm just about to go off now and record tonight's live stream, so as always, take care of your families, tell your loved ones that you love them, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and up the motherfucking Reds.